Hello and welcome to the Stars, Goddesses and What's for Tea podcast. My name is Samantha Selby and I am known as the astrological energy healer and channel for star goddess activations. I help the plate juggling women, the ones who really make the world go round, to lead a more spiritually aligned life, to recognise themselves as the goddesses that they truly are. I will be bringing the sometimes complicated concepts of astrology and energy healing down to earth and making them relevant to you and your life. If you haven't already, click on the link in the show notes to download my simple 2-step energy cleansing and alignment ritual so you can have your best day every day. Using the power of the planets, astrology and energy healing, you can take the inside track in your life and follow your soul pathway to the next level of soul ascension alongside human level health, wealth and happiness. So let's dive into all of this juiciness in today's episode. Hello and welcome to the latest episode in this series of studying astrology as alchemy. Now, ancient texts describe alchemy as the means of penetrating the very secrets of nature, life, death, unity, eternity, and infinity. In a nutshell, this means that alchemy is the study of change and transformation. And that's what astrology is. It's all about transformation and change. Astrology for me has become something that I practice, something that I do. It's an approach I take to life because it's all about the forces of creation. It's all about understanding me on a deeper level, but also understanding and experiencing the energy of possibility that surrounds us as we navigate this experience that we call life. And so in this series, I am taking each planet in turn and sharing with you insights and a deeper understanding of how they function as an energetic source, how they influence our lives in the way they travel around the orbit they travel around the sun, but also how they act, how they are within our own psyche, our inner boardroom. Because each of the planets represents a part of us. If you imagine your inner realm is just like a boardroom table, and sitting around the boardroom table are all the parts of you that enable your life to function. Think about this as, a business, a company, a factory that makes something, or a business that serves a purpose in this world. That business, that company has a boardroom to enable the company to run successfully. And each place around that boardroom table is a planet. It is part of your psyche. And so as we explore each planet in this way, we're gaining a deeper understanding of how we work as human beings, how our psyche works, and how we can start to use this understanding and awareness to create more of what we want in our lives. And that more might be more happiness. It might be more love. It might be more time. It might be more money. Whatever it is that you want in your life, understanding your energetic makeup, your soul signature, the way each member of your inner boardroom functions is really important, because it gives you the edge, it gives you the inside track. It means that you can use this energy. You can understand how it ticks. You can use it to your advantage. It helps your life to feel easier. It helps your life to be better. So up until now, we've been exploring what we call the personal planets. So that's the sun and the moon, your core identity, your masculine and feminine energy. And then we have Mercury, which is your thoughts, and Venus, which is your emotions, your feelings, your heart energy. Your core identity, your sun and your moon, your masculine and feminine energy, is expressed through the way you think and the way you feel, your Mercury and Venus energy. And then in the last episode, we explored Mars, because Mars is the first of the outer planets. It's the other side of the Earth. So it's Mars that takes us out into the world. Our Mars energy gets us off the sofa. It's our Mars energy that we use to experience passion and drive. The power of your Mars energy will determine how much confidence you have. How confident you feel is determined by your Mars energy. And so in this episode, we are going to explore the very next planet in our solar system. And this is the planet Jupiter. But Jupiter isn't a personal planet, because Jupiter is massive. Jupiter and Saturn are known as the two social planets. These planets are vast in comparison to Mars, our planet Earth, Venus, and Mercury. They take much longer to go round the orbit of the sun. Mars, the planet that takes the longest time to go round the sun, takes 2 years. Jupiter takes 12 years. And so this is why Jupiter and Saturn are known as social planets. They are slower moving, so they spend longer in each sign. And so people that are born around about the same time as you will have a similar or the same Jupiter in sign, because Jupiter spends a whole year in a sign. So everybody born within a kind of a year of you will have the same Jupiter in sign. So it's not so personal. That's why it's known as a social planet. So there are themes with Jupiter as opposed to personal imprints in your inner boardroom. What is important as far as Jupiter is concerned is the house placement of Jupiter, because this is unique to you. Only you will have Jupiter in that particular house at that particular degree. Other people will have Jupiter in the same sign, but only you will have that specific Jupiter placement of house and degree. And only you will have a Jupiter energy that has a relationship with the other planets in your natal chart. And it's these layers of understanding that we gain when we study astrology on a deeper and deeper level. It is like peeling back the layers. If we think about it in another way, it's like a pyramid or an iceberg. So when you think about an iceberg, you see the very top of the iceberg. And that in astrology is perhaps our sun sign. We're familiar with our sun sign. You know what your sun sign is. You probably know what your partner's sun sign is, your children's sun sign. You look up your sun sign in the newspaper, or you used to if you were my age. You know your sun sign, and you've probably got an idea of the energy of that, how it describes you, how you feel. Your sun sign is the core identity of who you are. And then we have our moon sign, which some of us will know. And if you've been hanging around with me long enough, you'll definitely know. So that's the other part of you. These are the bits that show up above your the level of the sea, if we're thinking about this as an iceberg. So that's obvious. We can see that. It's there. But then below the line and further down the iceberg, we have Mercury and Venus, and then Mars. And then even further down, we have Jupiter and Saturn. But it is these planets, the collection of all these planets, that move the iceberg, even though we only see the top part, perhaps the sun and the moon. And so these planets are really important in understanding the deeper and deeper and deeper layers of you. And this is what astrology is all about: understanding you, knowing yourself on a deeper level, but also using the movements of these planets to your advantage, to help your life, to give you a helping hand, to create more of what you want. And this is the transits of the planets as they move in the heavens. And for social planets like Jupiter and Saturn, these are more important. They are more life-changing than the movements of the personal planets, because they're much faster. The moon takes 2.5 days to move through a sign. She's very quick. Mercury, a couple of weeks. So they will influence us for a shorter period of time. You won't be able to remember all of your experiences in Mercury retrograde. Even though that happens 3 or 4 times a year, you will never remember all of those experiences throughout your entire life. But when a planet like Jupiter exerts its pressure in your natal chart, beams his energy down to you here on Earth, you will notice what happens, because it creates a deeper, longer lasting change in your life. You will feel it. It will show up in your life experiences. And this is why the social planets and then the outer planets are so important to study just as much as the personal planets. So let's dive into these social planets on a deeper level. So as I've said, they don't describe you as a unique individual, but they do describe groups of people, society as a whole. Jupiter and Saturn kind of act as a pair. They describe and show how you fit in, or not, into the world around you. So your core identity, your sun and your moon, is expressed through your Mercury energy, your thoughts, through your Venus energy, your feelings, and through your Mars energy, your actions. Jupiter is your belief system. Jupiter is your feedback loop, and Saturn is your results. So when we know who we are, your core identity, your sun, your moon, you recognize your thoughts, you communicate them, Mercury, you feel, you love, you interact, you relate to others with Venus, you take action with your Mars. Once you've embraced your Mars energy and you've taken action, you've gone out into the world, you get to the next level, and that is Jupiter. So Jupiter acts as this feedback loop. Jupiter's role is to tell you which one of your actions hit the mark, were right from society's perspective, which ones to keep doing and which ones to stop. So when you were growing up at school, and you did your exams, and you got a good mark, your parents were happy. They might have celebrated. You've brought home your results, and they've been, yes, that was amazing, that's so incredible. they've perhaps rewarded you in some way. Your parents were happy. You took action, you took your exams, you revised or you didn't revise, and the end result was a response or a reaction from your parents. They were happy, they acknowledged what you'd done, what you'd achieved, or maybe they didn't. This also applies for things like sports. So when you score a goal in football, or when you are with your friends at school and you make them laugh, they clap and they congratulate you. They laugh with you. So you learn that when you pass your exams, when you score goals, when you make your friends laugh, the world welcomes you. That's Jupiter. That's your Jupiter energy. So Jupiter as this creator of your belief system is really important in your development of who you are. Now, we know from studying psychology that a child develops over a period of time in kind of developmental leaps. So when a child is very small, when they're very, very young, they don't differentiate between themselves and their mother. They feel as if they are their mother. And then they start to energetically have their own energy system, usually round about the ages of 2 to 3. They start to individualize. They start to see that they are not their mother. They have their own fingers and toes. They have their own abilities to be able to have things and to do things. And then when we get to the age of about 7, we get another developmental leap. And the child starts to have an awareness of themselves in their surroundings. So up until that point, a child only has an awareness that they are the center of the universe. Anything that isn't happening around them, they have no concept of. They might say, oh, mummy or daddy is at work. They don't really have a concept of that because their world revolves around them. So everything is about them, which is why if things happen in your life in these years, children can make it mean something about them. It's their fault. It's down to them. Now, the next kind of developmental pivot point is around about the age of 12. And there are a number of reasons for this. So from a physiological perspective, you are experiencing a surge in hormones. You are entering into puberty. Your body is changing at a cellular level. There are chemicals streaming around your body and everything is changing. Your physical body, how you think, how you feel, everything changes. Energetically and astrologically, you are experiencing one of the most powerful transits, and that is your Jupiter return. So Jupiter takes a year to go round, spends a year in each sign, and Jupiter takes 12 years to go all the way around the zodiac. So around about the age of 12, Jupiter will return to the same position as he was in when you were born. And so, because Jupiter is the planet of beliefs, when Jupiter comes back to that position, he begins to solidify your belief systems. And your belief systems are created by everything that you have experienced up until this point. So your beliefs about yourself, how you fit into the world, your beliefs about the world. I am lucky, I am unlucky. I am worthy of love, I am unworthy of love. I am helpful, I am kind, I am selfish. I'm not worth the space all the time. So those belief systems are forming as Jupiter moves through every house of your natal chart and every sign. So Jupiter beams this energy down to you, every single one of the signs, and shines his light on every single part of your life, every house in your natal chart. So he's activating everything. And he's asking these questions. What do you believe? How do you respond? What is happening? Jupiter is asking you to explore your experience of growth, expansion. Jupiter is inviting you to consider the energy of what if. And as you take action in all areas of your life, as you are growing, the feedback you receive from the society that you live in forms the framework for your belief system. So if you grow up in a home that celebrates achievement, what do you think the beliefs that will form within you around success and achievement? If you grow up in a home that celebrates working hard, just consider what your beliefs may be around working hard. If you grow up in a house that has a limited experience of luck, and the story, the narrative is, we have bad luck. Nothing goes right for us. It's one thing after another. What do you think your beliefs are around luck? And so Jupiter acts as this reflective energy, this lens that you view the world through, dependent on the actions you've taken and the reaction to those actions. So your beliefs might be, it's good for me to speak up and say how I feel. It's good for me to be a team player. These beliefs will act as a moral compass for you for the rest of your life, guiding you to consider what's right and what's wrong, what fits with your energetic framework. So in the next episode, I'm going to be sharing with you more about Saturn, which is our success, your end result after you've experienced Jupiter. But Jupiter as a planet is really important if you want to create anything in your life. Jupiter is a representation of Zeus, the king of the gods. So Jupiter in Roman mythology was the king of the gods. In Greek mythology, Zeus was the king of the gods. Jupiter acts as a metaphor for everything that is larger than life. Jupiter is our beliefs. How big are they? Are they expansive? Are they restrictive? Jupiter is about expansion, growth, luck, adventure, exploration. Jupiter rules expanding your mind with higher education. Jupiter is about teaching, opening things up, traveling, literally traveling, or with your mind's eye, with your dreams and your vision. Jupiter is about optimism and honesty. He is known as the great benefic. So he's about generosity, hope, faith. Jupiter also rules judgment and wisdom. The wisdom that you learn from the actions that you've taken. So if you take an action and it doesn't work out, you can continue to take that same action again and again and again and get the same outcome again and again and again. Or you can use your Jupiter energy and learn from that action taking and adjust how you do it and what you do to get a different outcome, which is why Jupiter rules wisdom. Jupiter is also connected to our social skills because he's a social planet. Jupiter is also connected to excess and overindulgence. Whatever Jupiter touches, Jupiter expands. So when Jupiter is transiting an area of your chart, or transiting a particular planet, it will expand all of the themes of that planet, all of the themes of that part of your chart. So whenever Jupiter is involved, he expands everything he touches. So this can also be why it can feel as if something happens and then something, the rule of three. All bad things happen in threes. Jupiter is the planet of momentum, and we can create upward moving momentum and downward moving momentum. Jupiter will do both. Jupiter doesn't differentiate. Jupiter will just expand, because Jupiter is made of gas. Jupiter isn't solid. Jupiter is the gaseous planet, which is why Jupiter rules big picture thinking and dreams. Jupiter wants to create coherence. Jupiter wants the path of least resistance. Jupiter, if you was to travel through Jupiter, Jupiter is gas. Jupiter doesn't want to be held back. Jupiter wants ease and movement. Jupiter will find consensus. Jupiter wants consensus. Jupiter wants an energy of coming together. Jupiter represents the social instincts of human beings that come together in a cohesive group. There's the same belief system. There's the same morals. They want the same thing. That's what creates a group. A group forms because there is some kind of coherence. There is some kind of theme. There is something that connects those people together. Jupiter is the archetypal energy of the teacher, the guru, the priest, the grandfather energy, the wise sage. Because Jupiter as an energy connects intuition to a higher perception and helps to land it in our reality. When we truly embrace our Jupiter energy, you are recognizing and embracing your intuition, but combining that with your wisdom and combining those into something is practical and valuable, which is why Jupiter is associated with growth and abundance, creating more value in the world. Now, this growth and abundance can be experienced, as I've said, in different ways. So Jupiter, perhaps in his shadow form, can be very impractical, restless, always on the go, always on the move, it's like there's no containing that energy. It's really the energy of chaos. Jupiter can also swing the other way in another shadow form and can be very shallow and materialistic. And that's because the other side of Jupiter is then emphasized, the reality side. So when our Jupiter energy is in balance, when we are fully connected to our intuition, our wisdom, and our practicalities and our ability to land things, then our Jupiter energy is in flow. Your wisdom and your intuition, in connection with your higher purpose, is put to full use with the consideration of society around you. And because Jupiter shows you how you will get along with the world. Your Jupiter energy is how you fit into society. Do you feel included within society? Or do you feel as if you sit mostly on the outside? Jupiter wants you to find a common ground. Jupiter will always find some coherence. The house that your Jupiter energy sits in shows you where you can have it easy, where things can come effortlessly to you. But it can also show you where you can overdo things, where you can experience overindulgence, excess. It can also show you where you might spend more time dreaming and visioning and kind of picturing things. Jupiter, your Jupiter sign to a degree, and your house placement and your Jupiter relationship with other planets, the aspects, will indicate your mindset and your beliefs that will either set you up for success or for failure. But remember, these can all change. Your belief system is not set in stone. It is not solid. Jupiter is not a solid planet. Jupiter is a planet of gas. So your belief systems are never solid. Your belief systems are constantly evolving and moving. And because we use our belief systems to expand or contract, to create success or failure, changing your beliefs can metamorphosize your outcomes. And this is why I love bringing in energy, transformational energy techniques into my work, studying astrology, because just that concept that Jupiter, the planet of beliefs, is actually made of gas. It is not solid rock, which is why when we change our beliefs, we change everything. We change what happens next, which is our results, which is the planet Saturn. So connecting with your Jupiter energy is really important to achieve your Mars mission, to have an outcome for your actions. Your belief system needs to be supportive of what you are wanting to do. You need to be able to see opportunities and take action on them, to imagine and envisage growth. In order to do that, you need hope and faith. You need to believe in yourself and your mission. You need to know who you are at a core level. You need to engage your inner Jupiter. You can take as many actions using your Mars energy as you like. You can take action after action after action after action. But if you don't have a growth mindset, if your belief systems are not open and expansive, those Mars actions, your Mars agenda, will not give you the outcome that you say you want. And ultimately, that's because of your belief systems. If you don't believe that your action will result in what you say you want, it won't happen. In order to feel successful, whatever success means to you, to feel good about living life, you have to make friends with Jupiter. Jupiter is about the path of least resistance. Jupiter teaches us to say, how can I make this easy? How can I look at this situation and see the possibility? What can I agree on? Where can I find consensus? Because Jupiter teaches us you will always have something in common with other people. So you might have a work colleague that you really struggle with. Maybe they It just seems like everything that you hold true in your life, they disagree on. But Jupiter tells us there is always something that you have in common. It might be that you discover you both have a love of gardening. You both love tulips. Or it might be your common ground is actually you're both human beings and you just want to do your job and get home. So although you've got a different approach to your work, actually you both have the same thing in mind. You want to go to work, do your job, go home. One of you is going to approach it in a different way. But Jupiter will always find common ground. When you focus on what you have in common with other people, when you focus on what's working in your life, it's much, much easier to find solutions to any of the problems that you have. This is why people who are mediators or negotiators will often have a strong Jupiter energy. So diplomats, courtiers at the courts of the kings and queens in times gone by, they would have had strong Jupiter energy because they could do the chit chat, they could do the small talk, they could create a coherence before they got down to the real nitty gritty. They would find a common ground. And then once that common ground is there and embedded and recognized, you can then go deeper and further and go underneath and find a solution to the bigger problem. So Jupiter wants us to be friends with everybody. Jupiter wants you to experience success. Jupiter wants you to focus on what is working instead of what's not working. Jupiter invites us to have a can-do attitude instead of a cannot approach. Jupiter is showing you how to feel hopeful, to have faith in yourself and others. And we can use Jupiter energy in our lives very intentionally. And this is because of Jupiter is a transiting planet. So every year, Jupiter moves around the zodiac. And once a year, Jupiter and the Sun create an alignment. They are in the same space in the sky. They line up in the heavens in relation to us here on Earth. And we call this a Jupiter-Sun conjunction. And it is said to be the luckiest day of the year because our sun, everything that our universe revolves around, is in alignment with Jupiter that expands everything. So that is a great time each year to think about what you want to create, to call in, to bring into your life. It's a great time to recognize what's going well and to ask the question of the universe, how can I have more of this? To focus on the positives and expand the energy of those, expand that experience and allow Jupiter to create more and more and more, to activate the law of momentum. The other way to work with Jupiter is on a 12-year basis. So every 12 years, so when you're around about 12, 24, I've got to do my maths now, 36, 48, and so on, Jupiter comes back to the place in your chart, returns to your the same position as your natal Jupiter. It's called a Jupiter return. And what Jupiter does, remember, Jupiter is about your belief systems. So when Jupiter comes back to you, you have your Jupiter return. You have an opportunity to think and to feel into what you want to experience for the next 12 years. What do you need to believe about yourself and the world in order for your actions, your Mars, to create the success that you want from Saturn. So every 12 years, we get a reset on our belief systems, just as we did when we were 12 years old. So they formed at 12. And between 12 and 24, we expanded on that belief system. We tested them. Are these still true? Yes. Oh my God, it is still true. If I work hard, I have to work hard. I have to work hard. My whole family has to work hard. This is my belief, that you have to work hard. So you continue to run that belief because it makes your family happy. You want coherence with them, but that's also what they're teaching you at school as well. They don't necessarily teach you that things come easy. So, but we get an adjustment phase of our belief system as Jupiter moves around the chart. So Jupiter return at age 12. At 12, I've got to add up, 18. So at age 18, we have a Jupiter opposition. So Jupiter sits directly opposite your natal Jupiter and says, okay, how's things going? What's adjusting here? And what happens at age 18? You're supposed to become an adult. So things happen around about the age of 18. Your position in the world alters again. And so there's an adjustment in your belief system. And so this repeats every 12 years for a Jupiter return. And in the intervening years, every 6 years in between those 12 years for a Jupiter opposition. We also have Jupiter squares as well, where we get a reset point on our beliefs, where we can adjust things. How am I doing in that journey to what I want in my 12-year plan? Oh, okay, there's things adjusting. And we can see this in our life as well. We can also use the sign that Jupiter is transiting through. So every year, Jupiter moves sign. So Jupiter will spend about 12 months in a sign, and then he moves signs, and then he spends another 12 months in that sign. So he travels for 12 months over a particular area of your chart, and he's beaming down his energy, where he's saying, what do you need to believe in this area of your life? What do you believe? What beliefs are changing? What are outdated? What could you believe instead? And so whenever Jupiter changes sign, that he does every year, he's beginning a 12-year cycle. And he's also beaming his influence down on a particular area of your chart. This is an opportunity to change your belief systems in that area of your life. It might be your home, your family, it might be your identity, it might be your relationships, it might be your work. This is an incredible opportunity. And this is what Jupiter offers us every single day. The energy of what if as an expansion, as opposed to what if as a worry thought. What if? Oh no, what if? Jupiter as a what if opens you up to the power of possibility, which is why Jupiter as a planet is so important if you want to experience any form of success, prosperity, if you want more love, more time, more joy, more happiness, more laughter. You have to make friends with Jupiter. So I hope you've enjoyed our exploration of Jupiter. And now for the most important part of this podcast, which is what's for tea. So tonight for tea, we are having homemade chicken goujons. Now, this is something that I have made 30 years. I have to think about how old my children are. So basically, it's very simple, but it's a family tradition in our house. So strips of chicken breast sliced up, you get a bit of flour, you get some egg, and you get some freshly homemade breadcrumbs. Much better if you make your own from stale bread. And we have, again, like families do, a little bit of a, tradition. So we have plain ones, which are just as I've described. Bit of flour, dip the chicken in the flour, dip it in the egg, dip it in the breadcrumbs, cook them. So deep fat fryer in the olden days, air fryer now, obviously. Plain and simple. But then we have lemon ones. So we get we what's it called? The zest of the lemons, lots of lemons. And when we're dipping the chicken in the flour and the breadcrumbs, we're mixing in some lemon zest as well. We also put some lemon juice on the chicken as well. Can't get too much lemon. Lovely, lovely. So you mix it. So there's lemon ones. And then we have Cajun ones as well. So we get some Cajun spices and we mix that into the flour. So you're dipping the chicken into those Cajun spices, egg, and then the breadcrumbs. Yum, yum in our tongue. Now, this is a very messy dinner because everything sticks to your fingers, and we have it as a production line. So when I used to do this with my boys when they were younger, we literally stood in a row in the kitchen and you passed everything along. So someone was in charge of the flour, and then someone was in charge of the egg, dipping it in the egg. And then the worst job was the egg to the breadcrumbs, because basically your fingers getting coated in it. You can do it with a fork, but you know, it's sometimes nice to get your fingers in. So we have to have the production line, because if you don't have a production line, it takes forever. And we have this with homemade garlic mayonnaise, yum yum in our tongue, and homemade chips. So it's one of those, we don't have this very often now. It used to be a Saturday night thing. We used to have it every Saturday night when my boys were smaller. I don't do this anymore. I learned that it's a faff, and it's more special if we do it every now and again. So we have homemade garlic mayonnaise with lots of garlic, homemade chips, homemade chicken goujons, and a homemade coleslaw, because I like to have some kind of veg. They just want to eat all of the carby stuff. So that's what's for tea tonight in our house. So thank you once again for listening. As always, it has been an absolute joy and a pleasure. So from my heart to yours, love and starlight. Until next time. Thank you for listening to today's episode. It's always good to hear what you think. So please let me know by leaving a comment. And if you loved what you heard, then it would be amazing if you shared it with your friends. If you would like to explore astrology and energy healing on a deeper level, come and join a community of open-hearted souls inside my Facebook group, Astrological Energy Healing for Life and Business. So until next time, love and starlight. Bye for now.